report. Here, Jeremy Olson. Valerie Hernandez. Here. David
Seems
Seymour.
like the volume's
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Okay, pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Public comment, members, should I read it? Members of the public who wish to speak to the board should complete a request card prior to the meeting. This section of the meeting will be reserved for comments from the public. All comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Criticism of individuals is not in order. Are there any public comments? No. Okay, so before we go to number 2, I would like to make a motion to open up discussion about granting permission to the HR department to start looking for an interim process. Does that make sense? So is there, can I get a motion or?
Boy, that's kind of vague.
Yeah.
So I guess a discussion to take place to grant permission to the HR department to advertise, interview, and secure an interim superintendent.
Does that hurt our options on, I mean, what do people think then in the public if we're out looking for an interim?
Yeah, talk loud.
Oh, I'm a little concerned about that, just because Sarah, can you explain if there would be any issues with potential superintendents applying if we were looking for an interim at the same time?
I don't think we would have any issues. I think it's completely reasonable that while we seek out our permanent future superintendent, that we have someone leading the district. Interims can be anywhere from 1 day to 120 days per year. And anyone that has been through or familiar with the superintendent process knows that it can take a little bit of time. So I think it's completely reasonable and responsible of the district to try to secure an interim.
Do we need a motion to discuss it before we continue to discuss it?
I guess I don't understand.
Yeah, it's
the
not on the
question.
agenda. That's why I'm asking. It's not, we're not making an action or an action.
We're not making an action on an individual. We just need consensus for us to move forward because it's loosely connected to the overall process. We just need consensus for the department and district to advertise and seek out and go through the interview process of selecting, identifying and selecting an interim.
Hi, can I say something related to that? Is that okay?
Yes.
I think in terms of the agenda, maybe what you want to do is have a motion to add something to the agenda.
No. So I talked through this with Amy and Delaney. She said the best way to approach this was to open discussion. It's tied loosely. The RFP itself is specifically for finding a firm for our permanent superintendent. However, we can't draw consensus and have a decision-making conversation related to the process in closed session. But what we can do, it's loosely tied to this item, we can have conversation. And again, it doesn't need a formal approval because we're not approving the person, right, who we're selecting. What we're doing is getting consensus for us to begin the efforts to find an interim. And if something happens in the meantime and we don't need to secure it, then we can stop that process. But it's giving the district and HR department approval to, begin that. Otherwise, we do nothing.
But we still haven't had a motion to discuss it, and so all of this is.
You can discuss it.
We can. Oh, okay, gotcha.
I have something.
Gotcha. Understood. Thank you.
I have something to interject. But we do need, I think, at least from what I heard, what you just read, we do need, I think, to say that Sarah Abadi, we give permission to Sarah to do that. I mean, this one didn't say anybody. It just.
No, yeah, HR department.
The HR department, okay, good. Well, that's a little vague, but I mean, I'd say the HR department, yeah, I guess that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's fine what.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So Sarah, David, or Val, any input?
I completely agree. I think that it's very clear that, it's just moving forward, to start that process. It doesn't mean we're securing anyone, and if in the process of going out and searching for a superintendent, we find someone, we can always stop that, delay that, or stop it completely.
Okay, so consensus?
I agree.
Okay, so we have consensus. Okay. So then, number 2, recruitment search firm, superintendent vacancy request for proposal. Subject A, recruitment search firm, superintendent vacancy request for proposal, Ms. Sarah Abadi. And this is an action item that the Board of Education approved the Human Resources Department to develop and begin the request for proposal process to allow for the bidding process to secure an appropriate recruitment search firm vendor. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay. Are there any questions? Or comments? No? Roll call?
Jeff Albright,
Yes.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Victoria Newport,
Yes.
Jeremy Olson, absent. Valerie Penny Hernandez,
Yes.
David Seymour.
Yes.
Oh, did you say my name? I'm sorry. Yes, I say yes. Okay, I'm sorry. And so with that, the meeting will be adjourned. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Okay.
All right.